leverage developable lands to enhance access to the green space and the river corridor, to sort of work in partnership with the CRNRA and everything and all their plans that they have to bring that beautiful trail up the Chattahoochee River, to promote new economic opportunities, and to support recreation and programming, and to kind of bring people into green space that maybe they didn't get to experience before. So that's who I am, that's who the Riverlands are, and we'll just go around and ask our authority members to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sherry Imai.
Did you want us to talk about what we envisioned for the project, or is that later?
If you have something that you'd like to add,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, I'm Mark Ternasian. Primarily mountain biking, both for beginners as well as advanced riders, hopefully with the ability to accommodate our NICA, which is an organization that works with middle school and high schools. There's nothing available for students in the North Gwinnett County area. So there's been, those organizations have come to us and expressed the need, so it would be great to try to be able to have trails that would be able to accommodate them and their families. Also the connectivity to the Chattahoochee Riverlands project, particularly with the trailhead at Highway 20, and partnering with the CRNRA, so it sounds familiar. And the idea is we're permitted being able to connect into their property, whether it's for hiking or biking, if they will allow it. That's all I got.
Thanks, Mark.
What was the acronym that you?
CR, Chattahoochee River National.
No, the one that.
Oh, NICA, I'm sorry, National Interscholastic Cycling Association. Yeah. We thought CRNRA was the top. National Interscholastic Cycling Association, NICA.
Thank you.
I'm Taylor Anderson. I am the City Council representative for the Riverlands Authority. Excuse me. And same thing I've said multiple times, the vision I see for the property is conservation, recreation, and limited development that would support whatever conservation and recreation is on the property.
I'm Lexi Crowson, I'm the secretary.
I'm Steve Presley, I'm the vice chair.
Thanks, everybody. And then I'd like to ask Claire to give us a quick review of the project scope.
Yeah, so just for the plan, the plan will function as kind of a strategic document that will give the steps to get where we want to go. And those decisions will be steered and guided by the public input received at the open houses, from the Parks and Rec plan, from Envision 100. But just kind of reiterating that this is more of a more strategic of a document than kind of just a vision setting, and so this will be a more usable document for the authority.
And then Claire and Typo, can you guys introduce yourselves?
Yes, my name is Claire. I'm a planner of the city.
My name's Kaipo. I'm the planning director of the city.
Then we also have Andy here, our Parks and Rec director.
Andy McQuaid, Parks and Rec director.
Thank you. Okay, and then we've got project team roles and expectations. Right?
Yeah.
You want to, Thomas and Hutton?
Oh.
Right before city staff.
Oh, I am so sorry.
That's all right.
This is what happens when I have a, hi, welcome.
Yeah.
The whole reason that we are here today is to meet you guys. I was
Yeah.
going to skip right over you. I'm
No
so
worries.
sorry.
Well, we're Thomas and Hutton, and we appreciate being here, and we appreciate y'all selecting us to help strategize the vision for the Riverlands project. My name's Kyle Bowen. I'll be the principal in charge and kind of the project manager for our team, and I work out of the Buford office just right up the street from here. So, and then we also have Ryan Thompson.
Sure. Ryan Thompson, landscape architect with Thomas and Hutton. I'm actually out of the Savannah office. I'm our department manager for all of our landscape architects, which are from Greenville, Savannah, Charleston, and we have a couple remote as well. So we'll be doing a lot of the detailed dive in on the project, doing the planning aspects of it. I'm excited to hear from them, to be honest. I definitely don't have any preconceived notions about what this needs to look like. We know it's an important piece of property to the city and to beyond the city even, so we're just here to listen today and gather information, and looking forward to a good project.
And then Andy Camp.
Hi, Andy Camp. I'm a regional director in economic development with Thomas and Hutton. And my perspective will be thinking about some of the programming that you all mentioned, what those economic opportunities and or development opportunities would be. So I'll be absorbing y'all's input on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, future.
So just kind of going through some of the logistics for moving forward throughout the planning process, how this can flow well. So kind of the main point of contact being Denise, and including me on that conversation, we will then disperse any information, ask any needed questions to the rest of the authority, but just kind of to make that as efficient as possible, to make that communication work nicely. That will kind of be the way that it's set up. And then with Kyle and Ryan being the main points of contact for Thomas and Hutton. And yeah, we look forward to getting that communication going and yeah, hitting the ground running. And then for an updated project timeline, so we are adjusting the timeline a bit from what we had initially outlined when we selected Thomas and Hutton and when we posted the RFP. So it's bumped back a bit. So today, June 27th, the master plan kickoff meeting, and then moving into Thomas and Hutton is really gonna start doing their research, taking inventory, doing their mapping, and we will be sending them data to do so. And then there will be a second meeting with the Development Authority, hopefully late July, early August, and that will, once we get farther along, once the work is being done, we'll be able to kind of narrow down and get that date. The second and probably the third meeting, those will likely be done as special called meetings, just with how the timing is going to line up. It might not fall nicely on a Development Authority meeting, and just to get the project moving, yeah, it might end up being a special called meeting again. The second meeting looking at programming, the third meeting looking at concepts in September, and then having a second open house, the first open house with Thomas and Hutton, looking at concept plans with the community, providing the opportunity for folks to see what concepts are and provide input, and then moving into looking at, you know, the input that was taken in, and creating the final plan, looking at illustrations, and then an additional open house to kind of share with the community what the plan is looking like, and just provide that update so that as folks have followed along and have provided their input, that opportunity to learn about what the actual plan is provided with the final plan adoption. And this will flow through the rest of the summer and probably into the fall. And then just looking at the data that we are getting to Thomas and Hutton, public input from the comprehensive plan, the Parks and Rec plan, and then the open houses, GIS and mapping data, previous city studies, the Greenway Master Plan, and then Vision 100, the Parks, Recreation, and Green Space Master Plan we're going to be getting to y'all. That version is just drafted, it's not the final adopted plan. The market study from KB Advisory Group, we received a draft and we've sent back comments, and we are waiting to hear back with the final plan for that as well, but that should be within the next few weeks. And then the historical and cultural research, we are finishing up on that as well. Talking to the Historical Preservation Society and just kind of building out that database with as much information as possible. So today we will get you everything except for the last 2 points. Those will come a little bit farther down the line, but not far down the line.
Okay.
I think that's what we have. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to present or?
I mean,
Share
we
with
felt
us.
like at this point, we were kind of gathering information. I mean, we obviously have a lot of GIS data that we've kind of compiled and we just, some aerial mapping just to kind of see where we are. So at this point, we just really wanted to kind of see.
But we did recognize that, I guess, the tax parcel boundary
Yeah.
information is different.
Yeah, different than what's showing up as what's
shows.
been defined as the Riverlands.
So that would be something, the most critical, let's make sure we're playing the right property.
Yeah.
So if we can clarify exactly the boundaries of that, because right now, we've got some survey, I think we did from boundary standpoint on the bottom half, on the southern side, but the north side of what we pulled is just directly from the tax parcel data for right now. So, that would be obviously very helpful.
Right.
And then, we've started
Like we pulled in the MARPA data.
pulling in as much data as we
vulnerabilities
could
and stuff like that.
of what we would always pull, but we do know that there's been a lot of other study on this property that we may or may not be able to easily find just from, our internet sleuthing. So if there's other information that could be provided, like please send it along. There's several of them up there that we'd already recognized, but if there's anything else, or if you guys know of, like, hey, there was an interesting, blog here or a post here about something, like help us find that, because we obviously wanna know that information as best possible. I know there's been some previous studies on the piece as well, if there's anything to be gleaned from that, if there was positive or negative reactions to any of it, it'd be helpful to know that kind of thing as well. But like I was saying earlier, like, we try our best when we come into a meeting like this to not come in with any sort of preconceived notions, even if we know the site extremely well. Kyle obviously knows it very well from being here. I think I mentioned I'm from Savannah. I don't know it very well at all. So, but I have followed along with the overall corridor study and the massive plan and undertaking that is for the entire region, which is amazing. And I can understand why the city's so excited about the opportunities that you got for it. So we're just really, looking forward to digging into it. We want to really, I think, talk with y'all about making sure we structure the final structure of the report the way y'all want it and for what it needs to be. There's only so much of that we can gather from a public RFP process as well. So we want to, just have open conversation about that. But that schedule is pretty close to what we were thinking too. Just from our standpoint, we're going to do our best to try to push things through before you get too tied up in the holiday season. So I think that timeline is probably pretty accurate to what we were envisioning as well. So. And then, the open houses will be obviously beneficial. We try to plan those as open houses, not lecture series where we're up there talking about the plan a whole lot. It's mostly with pieces of the plan around the room, and we would have our staff and hopefully some city staff and maybe even some of this board there to help, talk about the plan with those that come in. So that's kind of what we were thinking. But mostly just wanted to, get to know y'all, talk to you, know faces, and again, if there's anything that if anybody saw on that list that we were missing something, we went through the original RFP. We also went through what our response was and looked at the things that we'd identified. But if there was anything beyond that would be useful or helpful for us to get information from, or folks we need to reach out to get additional information from. We hadn't specifically talked about interviews or anything like that, but if there are key stakeholders in the community that y'all want us to reach out to and have some conversations with, obviously we're happy to do that. And we'd be willing to do that. Just let us know. So.
Claire, out of curiosity, did you get boundary and topo for all the property?
We just got the GIS data, and we've got the southern portion boundary information back from actually data that we had back in 2010, that when it was being to the land trust. Public trust, yeah. But,
I think we've got boundary and topo for
each
whatever the acreage we're gonna agree on is
like 80 something
nominally
in the north.
88 acres.
Actual field run boundary and topo.
But not field run topo, but it is a boundary.
It's a boundary that's built, been run.
Yeah, so we're just going to
Yeah, yeah,
from a planning standpoint, I think it's definitely enough to inform the plan. I think the So we've got that, we're gonna use that. Like Kyle mentioned, we understand there's limitations for, soil classifications and just how much you can do in certain areas. That's why I'd ask about that acronym, if there's specific things related to that. I know mountain biking groups are passionate about what they do. Believe it or not, we're trying to figure out how to do a mountain bike in south of Savannah. I'm like, how we do a mountain bike in south of Savannah? But I understand it's all called mountain biking even if there's no mountains. So,
It's called swamp bike.
it's actually, that's the problem, yes, we can't find the spots dry enough. But yeah, I know that, you know, if there are other, you know, stakeholders that are key pieces like that we need to incorporate that are unique or understand, we're certainly happy to talk to those folks as well, so.
Thank you, I really appreciate you being here, and
Yeah.
we're looking forward to working with you.
Andy, he didn't talk a whole lot about himself, but Andy has fairly recently joined us from a Thomas and Hutton standpoint, but we work together on multiple kind of economic development type projects, looking countywide in some instances, but is a wealth of background and experience once we get into, if there are some other components beyond recreational that can certainly bring in a lot of conversation on that, or if the route goes a different direction, obviously we won't need that, but we wanted to make sure he was here, that y'all knew him. If you needed to reach out to him, if you need to reach out to him for something else, you just know that he's here and available for y'all.
I'll provide you.
Yeah, I think that's good, because one of the things that we've talked about as an authority is identifying partners and other folks that we can work with to bring into this that can help, like what Mark's talking about, the mountain biking folks. It could be fishing, it could be whatever, whatever recreational opportunities we identify, but also the Park Service and other folks that are either immediately adjacent to us or can complement us, is helping finding those additional partners that we can talk to would be really helpful. That's something I think would be great for the implementation of the plan. Is we know that we're not doing it alone. We're going to have a whole bunch of other folks that are going to be helping execute on whatever recreational opportunities are identified, whether it's mountain biking or fishing or whatever they are. And then of course the Park Service being our neighbor, and Chattahoochee Riverlands, who we've got the executive director here, so which is awesome. So there's a lot of people that are involved in this area, and we want to work with them to identify ways that we can work together and make the project even better. And what they're doing, what the Park Service is doing on their property, which is really exciting. What the Riverlands is, Chattahoochee Riverlands is doing, all those folks. That's going to be a key to the success of getting this property open to the public and accessible.
Do any authority members have any questions for Thomas and Hutton? And then I think we are through the meat of our meeting. And just gonna move on to if there are any comments from any of the directors. So we just go around, if you have anything at this time, you can just let us know. Steve, you want to start, any comments?
I'm just excited to get the ball rolling, take all this data we've been collecting from the public and put it all together, let you guys figure out how to make the spaghetti sauce. And then, we'll do the pasta, you can do the spaghetti sauce. But I'm excited to see what, all this public input that's been asked and received, how to best do it for the community. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you.
I have the same. We've been visualizing this and talking about it for a year and a half at least, and I'm just excited now to have you guys on board and see where it goes.
Taylor, anything else? Done there, Mark? Good. Sherry?
I didn't know I had my opportunity to speak earlier, but I am, I'm a nature lover, and I would like to vision some of the natural native plants identified on little markers, and possibly some type of educational boards as people are walking through. So I would hope that could somehow be incorporated.
So excited about that. And I'd just like to say that I think there have been some assumptions made by some folks about the plans for the Riverlands based on the B&C Studios presentation from August. Those were all very conceptualized ideas that were kind of thrown out there. just to state for the record that we have no formal plans yet for the Riverlands property. That the master plan that's gonna be drawn up by Thomas and Hutton is gonna be a reflection of everything from the community and Envision 100 and the market analysis, and that we really want input from everyone in the community, and that we don't have anything planned yet. That's what this whole process is about. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we're figuring this all out, and that the goal is to make this beautiful resource accessible to the community. Because right now it's a beautiful resource that's inaccessible. So that's what we're trying to do. Thank you. Okay, so we don't have need for executive session, do we? Well, I don't even think we have anybody here now, okay, great. So, at this point then, our meeting is to be adjourned, if I can get a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
And a second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Alright, thank you again, our meeting is adjourned, it's 1:54.